Okay, hello everyone. Today we have our third Instagram live chat, and I'm excited to be talking to Mary from Yoga Surf Love. She's gonna be talking to us about yoga, surfing, and ocean conservation. She also has a nonprofit that I'm excited to hear about. She's gonna tell us how she got passionate and everything. So let's see, I'm gonna try add her. Here we go. Okay. Hi.
Hi. Just
Hi,
getting my
Mary. How are you doing?
good. I'm just getting my camera arranged here.
I know, yeah, it's hard with the
You
phone.
can't, yeah, you can't do anything until you're on here. Oops.
Exactly.
Did we get? Oh, hello.
Yeah. I can
Hello.
I can hear you. I can see you.
You can hear me okay?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Thanks so much for having me.
Of course, we're so excited. You
Yeah,
fit perfectly with everything we love to talk about and learn about, so we are so excited.
me too.
So first, I wanted to just ask you how you got started with and passionate about yoga, ocean conservation, surfing.
All the things.
Yes, everything.
All the things. Okay,
Yeah.
so all the yoga surf loving, right? So
Yes.
the yoga's been going on for about 20 years. Actually, I started on a VHS tape, which you might be too young to even know what that is. A VHS tape is a cassette thing that they used to put into a machine,
Uh-huh.
right? So
Yeah.
that's how I started yoga. When I was 18, my first roommate had bought this yoga tape, and I put it in, and I was pretty readily smoking weed like all day every day, like really not in a healthy, just like enjoying or like
Yeah.
medicinal. I was just like going for it. It was working full time, going to school to full time, just like balancing a million things. And I found that when I did yoga that I felt relaxed yet energized at the same time, and like there was something that was like, oh, I don't think you need to smoke the weed today,
Yeah.
So like, so that was an on and off journey. That I think that happens for most people. They kind of go in, they step out, and then they kind of figure out where they go with it. And my journey landed me to live in India, to train under some of the foremost authorities in yoga there. I live here in LA, which we have obviously an amazing pool of yoga teachers who I've had the honor to live around and learn from. And then, my own deep dive into my self practice. And it's taken me to places I never imagined. I never imagined working with kids. I've worked with thousands of them. And the surfing, it's so interesting because once I started teaching publicly yoga, it changed my practice because I didn't feel as motivated to go to classes because I was always in a studio. It kind of took away from what it was for me. And then when I moved here, I just knew I wanted to surf. I'm from Chicago. I saw the ocean a handful of times before I got here. And I was like, that looks like so much fun. That looks like what I want to do. So when I first moved out here, and this is about 8 years ago, I started to learn how to surf. This guy I worked with was like, yeah, I'll take you out. And like, I didn't know that you shouldn't start on a short board. He's like, yeah, that's a perfect board for you. So it's like, kind of, I think, advanced a little quicker
Yeah.
because of that. And then I started to see an alarming amount of trash in the water. And I was like, what the F is going on here? Like, this is crazy. And how are these other surfers like not picking it out of the water and, taking it out? I was like, what the heck? This is giving so much and filling my soul so much. It kind of replaced I just see it as another form of yoga because it connects mind, body, spirit, the whole thing. It challenges me in a way that that my physical asana practice didn't quite as challenge me as much, and take me to those edges of myself that were really uncomfortable and hard. Surfing still does that. It's like the most humbling thing on the planet. So I ended up seeing a documentary called Mission Blue. And I was like overwhelmed with a sense of responsibility that I had to do something about what is going on in our oceans with the plastic pollution, with the amount of animals that are killed through the nets and the lines and like all of the things. It just was, and the acidification of the ocean. And I'm like, we are killing our home. Like, what are we even doing? You know, it's mind boggling. So I was like, okay, like, how do I combine the things that I love the most? Yoga and surfing, getting people together, community. I'm huge into the community, and decided to do these beach cleanup events. And we're 7 years later. Are we going in our 8th year, 7th year? And we officially have like almost 20 people on our team now. It's like this quarantine has actually been amazing because we have like so much stuff that we're working on the back end. And like I'm moving to transition into that being like my full-time work. But I still have clients, and I'll always do a number of things because I'm just like, you know, a multi-passionate person and entrepreneur at heart. So I end up doing a lot of different projects. Like I read tarot, I teach, I do body work. You know, I've got like events all over the place with different things when we could have events. And so I've been building this like baby. It has literally been like my little passion love child, this nonprofit. And it's gotten a great response in our community. We do free beach cleanup events for a quarterly, usually, when we're able to do so. We give free yoga for adults and kids, surf lessons for free. We get everybody together. We celebrate. We teach about education, ocean awareness, sustainability education. We do workshops with kids. We work with underserved youth. That's like a big part of our up and coming programming. It's just branching out in a lot of beautiful ways. And it like literally with the surfing, it was like there was one time I was just sitting on my board trying to figure out what the hell am I doing with my life here in LA. Like I thought I would just like drop into LA and just become this like superstar yoga teacher. But I didn't know that this was the hub of yoga. It's kind of like an actor coming to LA, but not knowing that the acting industry is here. I didn't know. I just knew I wanted to come to LA and I wanted to be a yoga teacher. I didn't know. And everything else, I've always like advanced so quickly in all of my corporate jobs. I was like, I got this. Wrong. I was like on my surfboard, like, what the hell am I doing with my life? Like, what is this? And what if I just did this every day? What if I just surfed every single day? What would happen? And that question, that what if question, the universe just responded, and one thing has just led to the next, and it's been amazing. Amazing process.
That is so cool. That is all so exciting, especially with the nonprofit, like everything you said about the oceans. And it's so like another theme I picked up on with all three of the things you talked about that you're passionate about. It's just kind of like when you're first starting all these things, it can be overwhelming, especially like surfing, yoga. It's like kind of intimidating the times I've tried it. And there's like the pros, and you're in the yoga room, like you can't even do the tripod. Like that is me. And same thing with ocean conservation, like in a different way. It's really overwhelming to learn about, and like there's so many problems. It's like, where do I start? How do I even like address this kind of? So I think it's great. Like we love at For Animals for Earth, like little simple things that kind of take the stress out of just doing something, you know? So I think that's great with just like ocean beach cleanups, or even kind of like the peacefulness you get from being alone in yoga or surfing, like kind of sets your mind at ease and makes it easier to like actually get involved in a way. I think that's so great.
That's the concept, right? Like we start our events with yoga because you're filling yourself up so that you're this filled up vessel of service. You've taken care of yourself, and now you just have nothing but overflow to give from, you know, not working on the empty tank. And then the surfing just takes it into another, and even if these people don't advance in surfing, but just that sense of catching a wave is like the most inspiring, like amazing feeling. And that's why people usually come back for more, because it is so, the feeling of it is like, yes, And pretty much, it's very rare that somebody doesn't catch a wave on there with the surf school we work with. It's like very, very rare that somebody doesn't get up on it, when they're out there. And either they get the stoke or they don't, and they just have a good experience either way, and we partner and align ourselves with a lot of different brands too, who get where, same mindset. Like, yeah, we are going to still be consumers. Like, we're not here to not consume. There is a way to do closed loop consumerism. There is a way that it can all work in a symbiotic relationship. And we like to partner with brands that are at least working towards that, because it's not a perfect process. The overwhelm is very real. It's very doom or gloom, but we like to be ocean optimistic. Like, if you get too caught looking back, like you waste a lot of energy that way, and seeing and pointing fingers, they did this industry. Let's not, okay? Let's just look forward, be innovative, and be the change that we want to see, period. Like, you want to change something, you have to start with yourself. If you want to change something, you have to be aware that there's a problem. And from the awareness comes action steps. Awareness is the key component of all change. However, it's useless without action. Just pure awareness of like how insane this shit is, like you will go down a dark rabbit hole. It's not fun. But awareness and then taking a step in the right direction, and that could be, people get very overwhelmed, and I like to remind people, you don't have to start a nonprofit like I started, right? This is a lot of work. Like, it's not, I would not recommend an entrepreneurial life for most people, because there's so much uncertainty. There's so much getting knocked down and having to get up again. Repeatedly. It's great because it builds the resilience, but it's not meant for everybody. So if you have 10 people on your Instagram, you have a platform. If you're sharing information that can educate people, then you're doing something. If you come to a beach cleanup event with us, you're doing something. If you're following us on Instagram, you're doing something. If you donate to our cause, you are absolutely doing something. Not just for us, the planet, underserved youth. Just the whole thing, there's so many avenues. And I think we, especially on social, we get a big comparison syndrome going on. Like, well, that person, who cares what that person is doing? You're not that person. You're here to do what you do. And I'll tell you what, coming from a person who works in the nonprofit space, every little thing that everybody does is so important. I'm not just like so important because I'm the visionary of this thing and leading it. Like, I can't do any of this without the people who are helping. These people are crucial to everything that happens. The only reason our organization has expanded is because of the people who've involved themselves. So, like, that overwhelm, I get it, but you don't need to be overwhelmed. Just do what you can do and know that that's enough, and then check in to see if you have the bandwidth to do more. There's a lot going on right now. A lot of causes, a lot of things that really need our urgent attention, and you can't do them all.
I love what you said about like awareness versus action, like just going down that rabbit hole of learning everything that's going wrong with the environment, everything. It will like paralyze you and freak you out. And it just takes starting with, like you said, like any of those simple little things just to make a little difference, and that you're a little bit better than you were yesterday. Like, if everyone does that, the change that we could see would be so much more than like a handful of people doing it perfectly. It's like kind of the new direction that a lot of people like in this world are kind of going, is just encouraging the masses to do a little rather than like the people that are really passionate to do everything. So I really love that message.
Yeah, they call that analysis paralysis, when you're just so looking into, like, you get so deep into it. And it's not just like the things that I mentioned as well, of like, donating and sharing information. It's you voting with your dollar. It's you putting and investing your money into companies and the products and how you consume, that makes such a huge difference. People forget that the market is consumer driven. We are telling them what we want. Yes, they're doing the ad campaigns and selling us stuff, but that's because we're reacting to it. Mm-hmm. So when we have the capability, if you're broke, like, you still have the capability of where your dollar goes. And I realize that sustainability is also at this point more for people of privilege. Mm-hmm. It really is. We're not there yet where it's available fully for people. However, people are getting very innovative in their communities of how to live more sustainably without spending a lot of money on products. So, I mean, and at the end of the day, if you really think about it, is your $2 that you're saving really worth it? Like, mm-hmm. Is it really worth, like, let's say, child slave labor in China for your shirt? Is it the $2 that you're going to get like that? Is it worth that? Is it worth the toxins it's pumping into your home, your earth? Is it worth it? Is that saving anything? Like, at the end of the day, you got to loosen up a little bit on saving the bucks around it, because what happens is when we all start to spend more money and put it towards organic food, sustainable companies, the price comes down. It's expensive right now because it's small. You know, they don't have the mass production that of all the plastic and things like that. The same thing will happen once we all start to make the switch. So I just want to encourage people to know that, like, you matter so much more than what you're led to believe. And your choices, it's about your day-to-day choices of what you're doing to make an impact that make a huge difference. You're like, oh, I'm just one person. It's like, no, you're like, we're a bunch of just one people. Yeah. You know, making choices. So you've got a lot of power, a lot more power than you think.
Yeah, definitely. It can be, everyone can't think that way, because then nobody will ever do anything. So I think that's definitely the trap we fall into sometimes. We kind of just touched on it a little bit, but I just wanted to ask you, we like to do like a simple action for our followers or for listeners, something what we just talked about, simple that they can do in their day-to-day, and it can be relevant to kind of your mission with ocean conservation or whatever feels relevant to you. But yeah, just one simple action that they can implement to kind of help benefit the earth.
I think obviously the awareness is a big one, and then action. However, I would say if you just start to look around your house and notice how much like things that are not like reusable or that are single use, huge. Like, do I have a bunch of water bottles in what year is this? Why do you even have a water bottle? Water bottle. It's like you save so much money from a reusable, you know, and this stuff does actually save, a lot of it does save money in the end. Looking around at how you're consuming and just taking an honest look and know that it's an evolving process of eliminating, finding new brands, getting on board with things that are more earth friendly, more healthy for your body, you know, making sure that you're fortified and strong. Looking around at those things, that's like the most important thing, because we like to think that everything out there needs to change. That's not it. It starts here in my body, in my home. This is where it all starts. And from there, then we are doing some. Then you can take these bigger action steps, but not until then, because then what are you doing? You know, you're not really supporting. You're not being in that quite as much in the integrity. You know, when you're not cleaning up your act. Yeah,
definitely. I think that first step is for sure controlling what you can, instead of, you mentioned this earlier, like focusing on the bad industries or bad legislation. Like, if you start there, it's just going to be really overwhelming. You're going to feel helpless. So I think that's a great tip for everyone, is just, especially with the beauty of like social media and all these different innovations we have, is there's like literally an option for almost all of your necessities to make it just a little bit more eco-friendly. So I think that's so great.
It really is. And you know what? Some people have time Some people have money. You know, it's like whatever you have to give to causes really makes a big difference. And I also want to drive that home. It's like we need both, you know, for the nonprofit. We need people to volunteer, and money makes everything go round. So maybe you don't have the time to volunteer. Your dollars, even if it's $5, that makes a huge difference to an organization like ours. A huge difference. Because if everybody did the $5, forget it. We'd be, you know, we're in good shape. So it's not these big leaps, you know?
Yeah.
Little things along the way make a big difference.
Yeah, for sure. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I'm gonna tag your Instagram handle in the comments because I really hope that everyone can go check out your website because there's so many options. I know you do private yoga lessons, you do the public ones, you do the beach cleanups, so I think there's like something for everyone. So
there is, yeah, and we're at Dana Blue and then my Yoga Surf Love. Those are connected, but you know, I try to stay out of that other one a little. Not be like, you know, my face. Like,
exactly. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Too much more of your time, but we really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me reach out to your network. Blessings, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.